So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, when do I use set standby until run versus just a regular shift start? And that really depends on your second shift and whether or not you plan on running every line on your second shift, or if you've got some flexibility and say you've got 4 lines that are capable of running, but you really only need to run 3 of them. In that situation, you may want to use the set standby until run. Now, I'll show you an example. Here's line 5 in Lebanon right now, and line 5, we definitely want to run that line during the day. So if you go in, you look at the first shift, and we can just double click on this, and it'll show us that the first shift is a regular shift start, and at the end you get a regular shift end. Just like you would think. 6:15 it starts in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon it stops. But on the second shift, you'll see that at 2:30 it goes into a set standby until run, and then at the end of the shift at 11 you get a standard shift end. This gives you that flexibility that in the event we do not need to run every line on second shift. We really only need to run 4 lines on second shift and not 5. So we set all 5 lines up as a set standby until run. The line will actually go into standby mode right at that 2:30 until it starts to see parts. If you decided to run it on second shift, as soon as it starts seeing parts at 2:30, it's going to go right back up into a run mode, and it'll stay in run mode until it gets to the end of the shift at 11 o'clock. However, if they decided they did not want to run that line on second shift, they can shut it down right at shift end, and at 2:30 when it goes into that it starts to run that program of set standby until run, it goes into standby, it does not see any parts, and it stays in standby until the following day at 6:15 when it goes back into a standard set shift run mode. So if you want that line and you want that line to run on second shift, you would just use a shift start at the beginning. If you want to give your operator flexibility to not run the line because maybe he doesn't need to run it, or if they've got to run 4 out of the 5, they're gonna do PM on 1, so they're gonna space that out throughout the week. You don't want that line to go into a downtime mode and stay in a downtime mode all night unless it was really designed to or intended to be run. So it's just a really kind of a neat way to put them in standby, but yet give you the flexibility that if you are going to run it, it will go into a run mode.